1 year ago, during my GoPro Hero 6 review,
I said this. But I wish at least they changed the color, you know, to black.
And now, would you look at that? They actually fixed almost everything I complained about in my Hero 6 video. Nice clear model name on the side, also on the frame mount, which will allow you to tell the cameras apart. It is $400 instead of $500. The weird lens flare is gone. The misinformation about 5% crop while the stabilization turned on is fixed because it is 10%. And they liked my tweet. Can mean two things. One, the intern who is in charge of GoPro's Twitter account is fired. Two, they think their product is good. But is it?
Here it is! GoPro Hero 7 comes in this nicely designed box. They really want you to know that GoPro has gimbal-like stabilization and they call it Hyper Smooth, which by the way does an amazing job when there's enough light, but we will talk about that later. Inside the box there's another box where this Hero 7 sits on top like a bust statue. Inside that box we're greeted with some papers, GoPro stickers in case you're 5, then in the upper compartment of the box, 2 sticky mounts, USB to USB-C cable, the same 1220 mAh battery that comes with the previous Hero cameras, and at the bottom compartment, nothing. Just waste of space. Extra cost for shipping and storage. Why? Probably for the Tom Cruise effect. The frame mount and the camera now has clear and readable Hero 7 markings on it, which is very useful when it comes to identifying your cameras. Hero 7 Black has a new felt material on it and it gives the camera an old and dusty look immediately. I mean, look at this. I just took it out of its box. Just like all other Hero cameras, GoPro Hero 7's full specs are kept in a safe next to Coca-Cola's recipe. But we know it's a 12 megapixel camera. It has the same GP1 chip from Hero 6. It can shoot up to 4K 60 frames per second with its fantastic electronic image stabilization. If you like slow motion, it can shoot 1080p 240 frames per second video, which doesn't work with electronic image stabilization. But if you like to use a gimbal like GoPro Karma Grip, you can get a good looking footage. It can record in H.264 and H.265. It has ProTune, the 2-inch screen on its back is bright and nice, but the touch sensitivity seems to be worse than Hero 6 and 5. And it still records in 60 to 70 megabits per second, which really limits if you need to edit the footage. That number needs to be at least 100 megabits per second. It is waterproof up to 10 meters without housing, and they say they fixed the horrible microphones. We will be testing that later on. Now, what really matters is how this $400 camera performs next to $200 E4K Plus, Hero 5, Hero 6, and the love of my life, Sony FDR X3000 R from 2016. To test 5 action cameras at the same time, I prepared this mount so that we can see the results better. GoPro Hero 6 and 7 have almost identical image quality. Needless to say, none of this footage is edited. When we zoom in to 300%, Hero 7 seems to have a little more contrast compared to Hero 6. Hero 5 stays a little behind due to its yellowish tint, but that's not a big deal and it can be fixed easily during post. The $200 E4K Plus is still head-to-head with Hero 6 and 7, and Sony FDR X3000 seems a little too saturated in this scene, but that's quite normal because it is set to vivid colors. When we switch GoPro to ProTune flat color, E4K Plus to flat color, and Sony FDR X3000 to natural color, all GoPros seem to have nice detail in the shadows but tend to clip the highlights as they clip at 100 IRE. Hero 5 still has yellow tint, E4K Plus clips at highlights and shadows seem dark, but since the footage is about 100 megabits per second you can recover a lot of information. Sony on the other hand in its natural profile sits nicely, not clipping at all. Since Sony records in 100 megabits per second as well, it's a lot of fun to work on its footage. When I point these cameras to the unforgiving colors of the flowers and zoom in 300%, you can see that GoPro Hero 6 and 7 are doing a fantastic job. To me this is very impressive because when I first got GoPro Hero 6, its video quality at this test was worse than Hero 5. I'm very surprised and impressed about how GoPro made their existing camera better with the software updates. Walking. Now let's talk about stabilization. GoPro Hero 7 does a ridiculously good job when it comes to stabilization. And yes, it is even better than Hero 6. Running. There's one catch. In the low light situations, the electronic image stabilization can't function properly because of shutter speed, and you end up with footage looking like this. And now running. One major difference between Hero 6 and 7, apart from stabilization at 4K 60 frames per second, is this. The horrific lens flare we have on Hero 6 is fixed on Hero 7. Now you can point your Hero 7 wherever you like, that dagger of light is gone. That was something you cannot fix with software update. 1080p 240 frames per second slow motion is a lot of fun, especially as you can see here if you can combine it with a gimbal, since the electronic image stabilization is not available in this mode. Low light is Hero 6 and Hero 7's weak point, and as you can see here, Hero 5 seems to be doing much better than Hero 6 and 7. Talking about weak points, let's talk about the weakest point. Sound quality. GoPro says they made sound quality better on Hero 7. Let's see if they did. Now it's on GoPro Karma. Now let's see if we can hear stuff. Okay, the microphone seems a little bit better. Let's see what happens when we go outside. And while we're out there, let's test the voice commands. I hope it's good. So, Hero 7 has voice commands too. So I chose a quiet place to test this. But it can also turn on with voice commands. GoPro, turn on. Aha! GoPro, start recording. Ooh! See, since the microphones are new, the microphones work better. Actually, I don't know if they're new. I think the voice commands will work better. There are actually a couple of new voice commands, and I have a list here. GoPro highlight. Did it. GoPro stop recording. We're by a car wash and we have traffic on the other side. GoPro shoot burst. GoPro shoot burst. GoPro start recording. So there are like they added some keywords. That was sick. Drops a highlight. So I'm guessing there must be some hidden keywords like Sikinarnar. GoPro Sikinarnar. GoPro whoopish. GoPro whoopa. No, but whoopish. See? GoPro time lapse. Wow, they did it.
It's really good.
GoPro turn off.
It also shoots a stabilized time warp video. At this point you may be thinking, wait a minute, this is GoPro, how come everything they say turns out to be true? Well, don't worry. When it comes to battery life, GoPro claims Hero 7 can shoot 4K 60 frames per second for 45 to 50 minutes. But in reality, it shoots 4K 60 frames per second for almost 57 minutes. And it didn't shut down because it was out of battery. It shut down because it overheated to 144 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 62.2 degrees Celsius, which is too hot to hold. Then I was able to get another 10-minute video recording, and this time it heated up to 148 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 64.4 degrees Celsius, and that is too hot to hold as well. After that, I was able to record for one more minute, and finally the battery had GoPro's permission to die. So in total I was able to record 68 minutes in my 82 degrees Fahrenheit studio. Apart from these great features, don't forget that this is, after all, a GoPro. The camera crashes, sometimes it doesn't record. You have to remember that it has a mind of its own. I think GoPro squeezed every last drop of processor power from GP1 chip, because when I hit record, the screen doesn't display the remaining battery or the remaining memory card time information. You can find that information over here on this screen. As you can see, compared to Hero 6 and Hero 5, it has a newly designed user interface. So when you touch here, you go into your video settings, and then let's say you would like to turn the stabilization on. First of all, the choices are auto and off, which I found a little weird. And then you scroll down to auto, but as you can see, it didn't select auto. You have to tap on auto. So that is kind of interesting. I find that a little bit interesting. By doing this, you cannot change the mode. You have to tap on it. Touchscreen is not extremely responsive. I think that's due to processor power as well. If you like to use this camera with Karma grip, which would make a fantastic combination on top of super nice stabilization this camera has, it works perfectly. But then, of course, operating on touchscreen becomes a little difficult. And as you can see, it is a little tilted. It does this every once in a while and then it goes away. It is adjusted now. They really didn't plan forward when it comes to this. Of course, it works with Karma. You can put this on your Karma drone if you're crazy enough to fly such thing. But joking aside, GoPro is finding its environment. A lot of FPV pilots love to use GoPro cameras and the results seem to be fantastic. As you can see, now we have time-lapse, video, photo, and then we have live. When you go to set up live, it would like to connect to Facebook. where lizard people argue with flat earthers. Is anybody on Facebook anymore? So I'm glad we have this feature, but I wish this was something else. Also, you can record in portrait mode, which is really good. I like that we have such option. So if you like to upload your footage to hugely successful vertical video services like IGTV. I don't know if you followed it, but IGTV just blew up. A huge opportunity to capture all of us from YouTube, and they didn't because they were stubborn about vertical video. You may be asking yourself, what am I gonna mount this on to shoot in vertical? Well, that's a great question. I don't know, L bracket? Go find an L bracket. I really don't understand why GoPro is so stubborn about the tripod mount. I really wish this thing had a tripod mount. I don't like GoPro mounts a lot. I like using these. Of course, GoPro mount has its own advantages. You set it up, and then if you need to take it out for something else, you need to change the battery or something, you can just take it out. You don't need to unmount this, and then you can just put it back, which is nice. But I would also like to have a tripod mount here so I can just mount this on something and stop using this.
This is the best GoPro Hero camera out there right now. For the first time, I feel like my 2-year-old FDR X3000 is in danger of being shelved. Well, not really. I wish it recorded 100 megabits per second to give me more editing flexibility, but it is still pretty impressive. If you have GoPro Hero 6, I cannot give you enough reasons to upgrade, but if you have 5 or below, I think you can look into this camera. But I'm kinda sad. And that is because Wood Monster Nick didn't have an event for Hero 7. There was no keynote, no crazy screams, and that is just not alright. From the company that brought you Fusion, a 360 camera that creates never before seen impossible angles, Karma Grip, a stabilizer that lets you create smooth footage, comes the next generation Hero action camera. This is Hero 7 Black, an action camera that takes action to bring you something more than a fraction.
GoPro Hero 7 is our biggest leap forward. It delivers 4K 60 frames per second gimbal-like stabilization. We use the same GP1 system on chip that we used in GoPro Hero 6. This is a chip we completely developed ourselves in collaboration with Sony XT. GoPro Hero 7 is a pure breed action camera. That's why we don't display distracting information while you're recording video, like remaining battery life or remaining space. If you really want to know these valuable information, what you can do is you can just turn the camera towards yourself and read the information from here. We have reimagined what reimagining should be, and we've come up with a phone mail camera.
It's phenomenal.
Whatever. We have redesigned GoPro Hero 7 from ground up, and we kept the forms same, but we changed the texture. And we came up with the first product that matches the model name, Black. GoPro Hero 7.
That's not Hero 7.
What?
That's not Hero 7.
Oh. GoPro Hero 7 Black is actually now black. And that is innovation. Since the form is the same, the battery is the same, you can use your existing mounts and batteries with GoPro Hero 7 Black. And everybody loves mounts. Our mounts are to GoPro what dongles are to an Apple computer. That's definitely out of focus. Now you may be asking yourself, What's the sensor? What's the sensor size? What is the field of view? What is the aperture? What is the minimum focus distance? Why isn't there a page on GoPro.com that gives the specs, the full specs? Well, let me tell you why. It's because that's none of your business. That's why GoPro Hero 7, 0% bull, 100% action camera. And it's awesome! GoPro, 0% PS, 100% action. Well, thank you very much for watching this episode and I hope you enjoyed it. Please hit that subscribe button. I must have a subscribe button somewhere here on the screen. Hit that subscribe button and play Ding Dong Ditch with the bell next to it and join the world domination. And please let me know what you think about GoPro Hero 7 in the comment section below. GoPro, catch! And until I see you the next time, take really good care of yourselves and hoşça kalın.